Hello everyone and welcome to the table. So we have a brand new knife for you today. This one's coming to us from Flissa. And Flissa, again, it's one of those Amazon type brands where you see a lot of their stuff on Amazon for pretty low prices. And so this one right here is a utility knife, an interesting take on the utility knife because we can see rather than just the generic utility blades, this one actually offers a drop point design as well. So pretty cool. And so there's no real model name to this particular knife. We can see what it's called here. Multi-purpose folding knife with G10 handles and 16 blades are included. So they did include quite a variety of replacement blades because again, being a utility knife, there's a little lever right here you push forward and you can replace these blades fairly easily. So it comes pre-installed with this nice drop point design, which again is out of the ordinary when it comes to a knife with replaceable utility blades. So it's kind of cool to see something different out there. Although I will say it does accept your standard utility blades as well, so we'll check that out in a minute. But again, what do we have here? It's very pocket knife-like in form factor. And so what I realized as well is that Flissa, if you've never heard of this brand before, they are kind of like a sub-brand if we look in this paperwork right here. So there's Flissa. They are kind of like a sub-brand of Work Pro. So if you ever heard of Work Pro, they have a lot of stuff that's out there. And it all comes to us from Great Star. And I think they're like a big conglomerate. They do a bunch of type of tools and outdoors gear. And of course, they're based out of China. So no surprise there. A lot of this stuff comes to us from Amazon, right? But either way, this is kind of their pocket knife version of a utility blade. So what do we have here? So check out the handles first. So we have green G10 scales on this knife with the logo kind of embossed in there, which it doesn't look so bad. For a billboard, it looks kind of nice actually. So green G10 handles. We have a plastic back spacer all along the back with a nice big space for a lanyard hole as well. So lanyards can be accommodated. We can see we do have a pocket clip here as well. So we have a deep carry wire clip. And I'm sure you've already noticed, but this pocket clip is going to be right-hand side tip down carry only, which it would have been nice to see tip up carry. I mean, I'm sure they could have squeezed that in up here somehow, but you know, it is what it is. So a removable pocket clip as is currently on there, and it does carry fairly deep. So no issues in or out of pocket because the G10, it does have some texture to it, but it's also, you know, not going to hinder you getting this knife out of your pocket easily. So what we all have here though, on the utility blade, this is a locking knife. We use a liner lock mechanism right there. So check out the lockup. Lockup is fine, no issues, not too early, not too late, and in terms of blade play, there is none. So this blade holder here is rock solid, feels like a bank vault, which is pretty nice for such a budgety pocket knife. So again, this knife retails like around $15, $16 or so, so it is an inexpensive tool, to be sure. It does use a thumb stud for opening, and it's only a right-hand side thumb stud, we can see right there. So it's just a single way to open the knife. And the action is not too bad at all. So it doesn't run on bearings or anything. Feels like there's washers in there. But either way, I don't think you're going to have any issues opening or closing the knife at all. But of course, the star of the show here is going to be this blade compatibility that we have. So let's go ahead and check it out. We have our blade remover right here. So this little spring action lever, you can see it actuates the blade release, so we can just pull out this nice little drop point blade right here. And the blades are replaceable, of course. It comes with 3 of these drop point blades. And since there's only 3 of them, and this is not a very common pattern, I would recommend you sharpen these up as they get dull. And now these blades, the drop point blades, are made out of 3CR13 steel, so it's not a super steel by any means. But 3CR, one of the benefits of that cheap steel is that it's very easy to touch up and to sharpen. So once you dull these blades, you're going to want to sharpen them up and keep them in service for as long as possible in case you can't find any replacements in the future. So of course we have the drop point blade. It also comes with, interestingly enough here, so again, a couple more of the drop points, but we also get this really cool gut hook blade. So we can see that on there as well. And so we have this nice sharp gut hook. So we can see how that cuts. See how, so there we go. So yeah, nice sharp gut hook blade. You could also, you know, use this as a safety blade. So something that's a belt cutter, a rope cutter. I think it could work really well in those use cases. So when the blade is closed, again, can't tell, it's a rope cutter or a gut hook at all. So either way, very utilitarian. So we get 3 of the drop points, 3 of these gut hook blades as well. But of course, once you're done with these blades, if they break, they wear out and they're gone. Of course, the knife still can't default to your basic utility blades. So that's always cool as well. So let's pull out one of these and check that out too. Okay, so again, unlock it, put your blade in there, and boom. So we have a basic utility knife, box cutter, so on and so forth. So worst case scenario, you're down to what you have here. But either way, it's going to work just fine. And some pretty cool features actually are on this, and a little detail that I noticed. So let's go ahead and take the blade out. Check the blade holder right here. Look at these edges on the blade holder. So these edges are actually beveled, which is really cool. So that way, when you do have your knife blade in here, or really any blade in here, and you're cutting through material, it's not going your material is not going to get caught up on the blade holder because it's angled at a bevel, at an angle. So that way you will have smoother cuts when you're cutting through something very thick. So say like carpet or something, it's not going to get caught up and bound up here on the blade holder. So that's pretty cool to see these little angles here on the blade holder. So pretty cool, little thoughtful design, I think, you know? So I'm glad they went through the process of doing that. So that's, again, kind of a cool little afterthought. But this is a pretty much a full-size pocket knife, especially with this big blade in here. It's fairly large. So let's go ahead and measure it out, because our overall length with the big blade installed here, we can see we're coming in about 7 and 3/4 inches long. And the blade length of the drop point blade, you can see it's about 2 and 3/4 inches of cutting edge. And from tip to scale, it's about 3.5 inches long. So in terms of the size of the knife in your hand, it feels very much like other pocket knives of this weight class, so to speak. So let's go ahead and weigh it out too, because it's not a lightweight knife by any means. So let's go ahead and weigh it out. So our Flissa 3-in-1 folder, a little over 4 ounces. So we're at 4.13 ounces. So it feels like that. It's got some heft to it, you know, because it's a liner lock knife. Taking a look at the liners, liners are all steel, you know, solid steel liners, you know, thick slabs of G10, solid back spacer. Even if it is plastic, it's solid. So there's not a lot of weight reduction here. So it gives you a nice solid tool feel to it, if that's what you're going for. But comparing to, you know, some other common pocket knives that are out there, in terms of size comparison, we can put it up next to a Kershaw Blur. So Kershaw Blur, very popular US made folder, but you can see it's again about identical in overall length here. We also have a Spyderco PM2 Paramilitary 2 right here. So putting that side by side as well, right in that same class of blade. Now, of course, totally outclassed, because this is, again, it's a budget, almost a throwaway knife, right? It's, you know, $15 knife that uses disposable blades, things that you can replace really quickly in the field. And that being said, if you never intend on sharpening a knife for the rest of your life, something like this could serve you pretty well. But what I always do whenever I get one of these knives that uses replaceable utility blades, I do like to check out and see if they work with these, because these are very low in compatibility. So these are concave hook blades, and so they're very useful for certain cutting tasks because of that little claw shape to it. And so we can see if this is going to fit, and usually they don't, I'll be honest, in most folding knives. So we put that in there, and yeah, it's not going to work because you can see how loose it goes. Main reason why that is because where these two little notches are on this blade is different than where they are on a regular utility blade. See the difference there? So it's a little bit out of plane. And so not many folding utility knives are compatible with these. These are mostly meant for those fixed blade utility blades you see all over the place. But I always like to test them out, you know, but not many folders are compatible. But again, regular utility blades are going to work fine. So regardless of what happens to your nice little drop point blades here, you're always going to have a sharpened edge available for you. And again, I think it's very utilitarian, very much a worker's tool. And for a budget price, I think if you're in the market for something like this, you're not going to go wrong. Liner locks are great, proven technology, and the blade change system is a piece of cake, as you can see. So that's always a good thing. But if you have any questions or comments about this one, feel free to drop them below. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. It's just a nice quality little tool, something that you can carry with you and always have a sharpened edge on you, whether you're an outdoorsman, you put this in your car kit, or just everyday carry. So have any questions, drop those below. Hope you all out there have a nice day. See you later.